Yesterday was Pile on Kalen DeBoer Day in the national media. And just to revisit, the three of us support Kalen DeBoer as the coach at Alabama. We think LT before me thought it was the guy they should go hire to replace Nick Saban. That's right. Before his name was even mentioned, you threw Kalen. They should go get Kalen DeBoer.
Right.
And when they started to do that, you were like, oh my goodness, they're on the right path. And when they hired him, you thought home run hire.
I thought home run hire. Yes.
Yes. And you think Kalen DeBoer is doing a good job, or he is? Give me your Kalen DeBoer thought, Mick.
I like Kalen DeBoer. I think he's a good guy. I know he has a tough job to replace Nick Saban, but I like the fact that he's embraced that, and he's really gone after it. So yeah, I'm supportive.
Yeah, I think if his personality was different, I think people would feel different. I think his personality was more Dan Lanning, a little more aggressive, a little more edgy. I think 9-4 in year one would be more digestible. I think 11-4 last year would be more digestible. I just don't know how you can deny what he's done in 4 years as a Power 4 coach. From 11 wins to 14 at Washington, winning a conference championship, and playing for a national championship, and then making the transition to a new job, following the greatest to ever do it maybe in any sport, winning 9 games, the last team out of the college football playoff, in year 2 playing for the conference championship, winning 11 games and winning a playoff game on the road. I mean, so overall now, in 2 years, or in 4 years, 45 wins and 11 losses. He's basically an 11-3 coach in the Power 4 in 4 years. Would you take 11-3 almost every year?
That's what I was about to ask. Okay, he hasn't won a national championship at either place.
But how many people have, right?
That's right. How many people have done a better job than Kalen DeBoer?
Maybe 3. Maybe 3. He's a top 5 coach. And I know even Alabama fans are like, no, he's not.
In his 2 years at Alabama, Cignetti has been better. I guess you could say Ryan Day has been better. I guess you can say Kirby has been better.
Marcus Freeman probably.
Missed the playoffs last year.
He missed, but DeBoer did in year 1, and Freeman played for a national championship.
Yeah, but Freeman and DeBoer would be maybe on the same line.
I would say Lanning. Lanning was the number 1 seed last year. I know they were one and done, but they won the Big Ten. They were undefeated.
Yeah.
They were back this year, back to back, so 2 playoff appearances. So I would say Lanning.
Yeah. Just for the record, we're 193 away from a new season. So when we say last year now, it needs to be the most current year. Lanning's had some postseason issues, but he's probably ahead of DeBoer. But there's a handful.
Yeah, that's it. It's maybe 5 or 6. But I would say Washington year 1 for DeBoer was a B+, 11 wins. Year 2 was an A+, winning the Pac-12 and then going and winning or playing for a national championship, winning a playoff game. Year 1 at Alabama is interesting. I don't know what you guys would give him. I'd give him a B-. It's such a difficult follow. You had such a schizophrenic quarterback in Jalen Milroe, and you still were the last team out. Look, there were a couple of head-scratching losses, but then in year 2, and we've talked about this, how it's not a B+, going from 9 wins to 11 wins and, playing for the SEC championship in a crowded, really, really top-heavy SEC, and then going on and winning a playoff game on the road against Oklahoma, how that's not a B+ is baffling.
Yeah, another thing to me is, and I've talked about this on our shows, with Jay Coker last call, that it's not like Alabama's rolling with Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Texas, Ohio State, Michigan money. So whether we like it or not, the way that it works right now is like every other business, and that's where you have to go out and pay for talent. And we're kind of, I don't want to say we're low, but we're not there.
Yeah,
I think he's done a good job.
There are some people, to your point, that are the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And then there are some people that are the Yankees and the Mets. Mm-hmm. And then there are some, they're the Braves.
Yeah.
You can be really good, spend a lot of money, and be really good. And for the Braves to win a World Series now, they're going to have to hit on a lot of players.
Yeah, right. They're going to have to get lucky. The injuries are part of that too. Alabama dealt with that last year because you don't have the depth throughout the roster.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, trajectory-wise, it sounds like it's going pretty good.
Yes, it's obviously heading in the right direction. Do you kind of agree, though, if he was a little more abrasive, had more of a personality, the 9 to 11 wins would seem different? I think there's such a, not only the transition from the greatness of Nick Saban, but the personality of Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer.
So here's what happened yesterday. Joel Klatt, friend of the show, we'll stay in the double box here so that we can get a reaction as you listen to it for the first time. So we'll focus on LT's reaction of all the stuff he just laid out there. Here's Joel Klatt's take on Kalen DeBoer.
They have quickly descended into a place that when I think about their conference, I don't think about them initially, and I don't even think about them in the top 3. When I think about the SEC, I immediately think of Georgia and Texas, and oh, by the way, Alabama. Alabama is my stock down team. The reality is that they are coming off back-to-back 4-loss years, that the best part of their team last year was Ty Simpson, by a wide margin, by the way, and they're losing Ty Simpson. I don't love what's going on down there. They were blown out by Georgia in the SEC championship game. They were blown out by Indiana. And it wasn't just that like, oh, Indiana had a great day. No. Indiana did whatever they wanted to do. They ran the ball 50 times straight at Alabama. This is not the Alabama of 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and certainly not 10 years ago. So they have been trending down, and that trend, I think, is going to continue. They've got to figure out their quarterback for next year. Is it going to be Austin Mack or Keelon Russell? 0 starts between them in an era in which experience is everything that you need at that position. They're losing starters out there. Isaiah Horton, he's gone. Wilkin Formby, the guard, he's gone. I don't see this team turning it around. Like I said, I think about the SEC. I think about Georgia and Texas.
Okay, now some of that is true. It's not Alabama from 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Those are some of the greatest teams of all time in the history of college football. It's not Nick Saban's Alabama. It's not the same world anymore, though. The world changed in 2023.
I completely disagree with almost all of that. First of all, do you think Klatt even knew who Ty Simpson was coming into last season?
I don't want to say no, but
he had never started a game.
I lean more no than yes.
So I'm just saying, like, that was such an unknown last year, going from schizophrenic Jalen Milroe to Ty Simpson that nobody knew about. So, I think you can say that. But, again, we didn't know how good Ty Simpson was going to be last year. You might have a better quarterback situation this year. You don't know. Isaiah Horton's another name he mentioned. Nobody had a lot of expectation from Horton coming from Miami. Indiana dominated almost everyone. What did they? They beat the hell out of Oregon worse than they did Alabama the very next week.
Yeah.
So, like, you could say that about Indiana and a lot of different teams. And for him to put Texas, like, I get Georgia. Georgia is the alpha right now of the SEC.
Alabama beat them, by the way, in Athens when they were healthy, when Alabama was healthy. Yeah,
back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Texas, though, have they won an SEC championship?
No.
Were they in the college football playoff this year? No. I mean, like, so how do you automatically jump that it's Georgia, Texas, then Alabama? I think, like everybody would agree, Alabama has fallen. Would they have taken a step back even under Saban? Maybe. We don't know that. It is a different world.
I think the issue, though, to me, the worry anyway, is when you see Quay Russaw, James Smith go to Ohio State, Isaiah Horton's your best receiver coming back, and then he takes more money and goes to Texas A&M. Even Wilkin Formby, who wasn't fantastic, but he's still a starter, he's gone for money somewhere else. And then you got 2 guys coming back. I mean, it does feel a little bit like we're in some trouble here.
Well, let me ask you, though, if you're Alabama and you've got and you help me out, is Russaw and Yanze Pierre basically the same position?
Yeah. Okay,
so if you've got to choose and you could pay one the top level money, what they're asking, which one are you choosing?
Yeah, I mean the guy that stayed, but
Yanze Pierre, right?
But you need depth in these spots.
You do, but you can't
do it
back
today.
to the money thing. I can't pay both of these guys the top level money that they want. So I've got to choose between one or two.
Yeah,
which one am I choosing? So that means Russaw leaving.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, people leave Georgia.
That's a tough decision. There are schools that can pay both of them.
Right.
But people are leaving Georgia and they're leaving Ohio State and they're leaving Oregon. I mean, they're leaving quality or the best programs out there for more money and more opportunity. So it's just not Alabama. Alabama to your point a little bit ago, just doesn't have the money some of these other schools have right now.
Yeah, and they need to get it. I mean, it's there. It's just they got to go find it because it isn't going to come from $1 billion booster. But there's more Alabama has more fans than I'd say just about any other college
I think
team.
it's more difficult than you think, though. I mean, I just do. I mean, I think the economy's tough. I think when you go, because I think there's some Alabama fans out there, if I'm stubborn on giving up my hard-earned money and you look at the product, it is different from what it was under Nick Saban. So it is difficult. Now, there's a flip side to that coin. If you give money, then you're going to have a better product.
Yeah, right. And I look at a school like Ole Miss. They're tired of losing, so they're putting money in. And LSU's going to be good. Where are they getting all the money they got now?
Well,
Lane Kiffin went there because he's not giving up his backup that's really good.
We learned yesterday the energy company that is multi-billion dollars for Louisiana Gas and Oil, whatever the name of it was, Woodbridge or whatever it was, Energy. Name on the jerseys now. That's where
it's coming from.
They've got some fuel money down in Louisiana.
Well,
okay.
that's another thing I would bring up, though. Like, to Klatt and to these national guys that are dogging out DeBoer in Alabama right now, what has happened to LSU? What has happened to Michigan now that Harbaugh is gone? We're talking about teams that have fired their coaches this last year. So there are other programs that are in a much worse spot than Alabama. I mean, Alabama, if you're laying out the top 10 programs, and I know this is not a spot they want to be, but I think everybody would still consider Alabama a top 10 program.
Yeah, we'll